Hello and welcome then to Jerez. Yes, that's correct. It is already the first day of the 2022 season, and 2021 only finished 4 days ago. My name's Jack Gorst, and joined alongside me we have Simon Crafar as always, and we're going to be giving you a quick roundup of exactly what's happened on day one of the Jerez Test here. We've had new bikes, new riders and new teams. So, Simon, we may as well start off with the 5 rookies. 5 fantastic rookies we got. Obviously we have Gardner, Fernandez, Didier Antonio, also then Bezecchi and Darren Binder as well. It's a big day for these rookies, Simon.
I'm glad you started with him, because to me it's the most exciting thing. Yes, they'll be slow, you know, in the beginning, but if you think back to 2019, the rookies, the class of 2019 changed our championship. You know, 2 of them from 2019 to now have already won the championship, you know. So for me it's the most exciting thing, what these new guys will bring to the championship. I've got to say, I feel sorry for them. We'll get on to conditions, but it's been so windy that, I mean, it's already, they have to deal with enough as it is, you know, learning everything. But this wind, it's howling out there. We've got a bit of a sheltered spot here, but it's going to make it more tricky than usual, you know. One other thing is, the reason I'm so excited about the rookies always is it's a life-changing opportunity for them. I remember what it was like first time jumping on a bike here, and it's mind-blowing how fast and huge opportunity.
Yeah, massive opportunity for our rookies then, and it's also a massive opportunity for many of the others on the grid. We've got established names and also young rookies from last year moving up to much better machinery this year. The biggest name of them all, we have to talk about Andrea Dovizioso, moving up to a full factory spec Yamaha in the newly formed R&F racing team. It's a big day for Dovi.
Yeah, it looks like he's got the 21 bike, probably one of the factory riders' bikes moved across to his side of the garage, to the next garage, which makes sense. 21 bike. He's going to have a 22 bike, but it looks like he's got a 21 at least at the moment, because they're meant to be the same chassis, just engine stuff changed. Then I'd say the other one to mention would be Marini, Bastianini. Those 2 guys, similar situation to Dovi, moved up from 2019 machinery to 21 spec machinery. So exciting for them. And it showed me how important Bastianini is to the factory, because when he went out for that first run on the 21 bike, Tardozzi, Gigi, and a bunch of Ducati engineers came to sit down and listen to him when he came back in the garage.
Yeah, certainly, and I mean, there's no better example to prove that than Bastianini is already second on the timesheets, I think down to a 37.7, that's a pretty quick time around Jerez. Now we also talk about Marini. He was the first man out this morning, was obviously quite keen to get on a 2-year newer bike. It's also a big day for him and a big day for that new team as well.
Yeah, and I mean, Bastianini and Marini have had dated machinery, 2-year-old stuff all this year. And again, just to say about the rookies, how they changed the championship, Bastianini with a 2-year-old bike on the podium twice this year, and Martin, he literally did change the championship this year. So that's why I'm, just to go back, excited about the rookies.
So then we've covered the rookies and also a few of the big names that have moved up to much better machinery. That's sort of the obvious stuff that we've seen down in pit lane this morning, but there's quite a lot of not obvious stuff. We're talking about kind of Yamaha, Suzuki, KTM, all the factory teams. We've had a look and we've gone, well, where's the new parts? But as we do know, there are plenty of new parts floating around.
What I think it is looking in like the KTM garage at Binder and Oliveira, Yamaha garage, Fabio and Franco, and then the Suzuki garage, Mir and Rins. It's all the same, it looks the same, but I genuinely believe what they've done is got one bike, which is their 21 bike, to get up to speed on, and there's another bike sitting that I'm waiting for them to go out on. It looks the same, they haven't changed the aero, but it's got to be new engine stuff, 22 engine. And I think that's a lot of what we've seen this morning, is riders getting up to speed, again with Paul Espargaro as well, on their 21 machine, because there's no point sending them straight out on the 22 and they go, oh, I'm not really sure. Up to speed on the 21, when they're settled, jump on the 22 engine, bike looks the same, and then tell the engineers what the difference is.
Yeah, it's a very valid point that Simon makes. He was explaining to me in pit lane this morning. Of course, they've done millions and millions of miles around this Jerez circuit, but the conditions today could be very different from the conditions earlier in the season or even last year, so it's always worth resetting that benchmark to then go again and test the new machinery.
Well, that's why it's worth now bringing up conditions once more, because it's one thing for the rider to say that feels better, but the proof is in the stopwatch. And with this wind, it's literally howling. You can see palm trees over here bending, you know, and it's so hard to be consistent time-wise so the engineers can see the difference in the parts. I think, nightmare.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Massive nightmare for them today. Not the easiest today for the start of the 2022 season. Now, we also need to go on to the other factories that we've not spoken about. Of course, Aprilia, Honda, Ducati, the likes of them. Honda is a massive talking about, but let's talk about Aprilia first. Aprilia, the biggest thing we noticed before when we went down pit lane was a shiny new exhaust, and it sounds, well, to me it sounds a bit different as well.
Yeah, they've got, well, again, they've got one machine for each rider, and when I say each rider, I've got to include Salvadori in there. Sorry, Mavericks machines and, Aleix Espargaro's machines, they've got clearly one machine that they finished the championship on, again, to get up to speed on, and the other bike, apart from the different exhausts, both the top exhaust and bottom exhaust are totally different, the chassis is subtly different as well, and then they're going to have the 22 engine, and the only thing I could spot on the new engine is they've got a different, that's visible, you know, because it's all internal. They've got a different torque sensor on the end of the sprocket, front shaft, and yeah.
Well,
Honda.
Yeah, exactly. Honda will lead on to it. Of course, we saw the entirely new 22 bike in Misano at the test just, well, a month and a half ago now. We've seen it here again, and it's in the hands this time of Alex Marquez and Taka Nakagami.
Yes, and it's a totally different bike. I mean, I'm talking chassis, engine, the engine mounts are different, which you spotted, and exhaust. Honda have finally gone to an exhaust valve. For example, Crafar have been making the exhaust valve on a lot of the other brands for quite a while, and the exhaust valve on 2 cylinders, they can manage the engine brake, you know, so give it more or less by opening this valve. Honda, I think they use, is it Arrow? They use a different brand anyway. I think
SC Project.
Sorry?
SC Project.
Okay, sorry, thank you. It used to be Arrow, I think. Anyway, they've finally gone to an exhaust valve on the looks like back 2 cylinders. And apart from that, the engine, like firing order and that, sounds the same, but it sounds a lot more mellow when it's warming up, a lot softer, and it's got a bit of a whistle when it's out on track. Sounds like it's supercharged.
Well, let's hope it's not supercharged, otherwise Alberto Poo just going to get
totally different looking bike, isn't it? Completely.
Absolutely. It's we know Honda that for the last however many years the bike has been kind of an evolution each year. This is something completely different. People have compared it to looking like a Ducati or a Yamaha. It really is a step away from the norm that we've seen from Honda.
I've got to say, I've been saying this for a while, Honda have been backed into a corner the last 2 years and kind of, you know, showing a weakness. And with the might of Honda and HRC, I knew they'd come out swinging, and they have.
They certainly have, and they really need to nail the punch as well. And it's made it a little bit harder for them because their star man, Marc Marquez, is not here. Also, Pol Espargaro had a huge crash in Valencia, so this morning's been taking it easy. Although, if you look from the timesheets, he seems to be okay. I know you spoke to him this morning.
Yeah, he said he had rib pain, basically a bit of an impact here, and I think it was right wrist. He showed me all his thumb and wrist. You can see the bruising coming out. It looked to me that he had his bikes from Valencia here this morning, just getting up to speed before he probably rides a new bike this afternoon.
Yeah, well, I imagine that will be the plan. Now, on to some of the finer details we've seen. There's all sorts of updated parts. We've seen Aprilia with some sensors hanging off the back of their salad box, we reckon to do with tyre temperature. We know that throughout the season, one of their biggest weaknesses has been late in the race, seem to struggle with a little bit of tyre wear. And then also Ducati, it seems they brought an updated front hole shot device here. So there's all sorts of small, tiny little details that we're slowly spotting throughout the day, and we will be uploading those all to the MotoGP Tech Facebook group and also in videos and articles later on today. Simon,
keep an eye out, because I think Ducati are going to roll something new out soon, because we haven't seen anything new machine-wise yet, but I'm sure they will.
We certainly haven't. That will probably either happen this afternoon or day 2 of the test. But whatever you do, make sure that you tune in to After the Flag tonight at 5:30, because they will be dissecting it all. Now, one final thing before we clock off for this little roundup on Facebook, we need to talk about the conditions. You've said them before, but why, with the winds today, make it so much harder for everyone?
Oh, basically, there's a bunch of different things. Stability is a real problem, because with all the acceleration areas where the front lifts, if it's a side wind, it pushes the front off line, not where you're going. It wants to push it. And then when the front touches again, with all that grip, it just rips back, and the bike, it's literally beyond your control, which is scary. Doesn't matter how good or brave you are, things that are out of control are proper scary. But then the rookies are going to have to put up with this. Then there's certain corners that the wind is helping you. You can actually push harder and make the lap time better. And then the other way, when it's making the bike understeer, you want to go there, but the wind's pushing you, and if you push harder, the front will let go, because it's literally like someone's trying to push you off the track. So you've got to predict where all those corners are helping, the wind's helping or not. It's a nightmare. And you can't be as consistent, which is what the engineers need to show what the difference in the parts.
So not only then is it a pretty big ordeal today for also the established guys in the class, but don't forget those rookies, Gardner, Fernandez, Didier Antonio, Bezzecchi and Darren Binder as well on the RNF Yamaha. It's going to be a huge day for them. Make sure you tune in to After the Flag tonight with Lewis Sotheby and Neil Morrison, and also Simon Crafar as well. They'll be running through everything that we've seen today, and also what we can expect tomorrow. 90 minutes, 5:30 local time here in Spain, and I think 4:30 in the UK. Make sure you tune into that one. And from me and Simon, that's it for now.